doing. I'm going to be performing August 12th, 17th, and 19th in San Francisco. And then I got this sudden rush of sort of openings to do the show in New York and maybe in Boston. And so I said, well, I better start preparing for real. San Francisco isn't just like a fun type of show. I mean, I'm actually trying to put new stuff in and trying to deal with, look, I'm trying to tell the story in this extemporaneous narrative style, right? I mean, that's why I took, all those courses and all the, that's why I did all the coursework with Mike Daisy, right? Because I wanted to get this sense of what the Daisy style was. And, Mike is a kind of semi-hero of mine. I mean, I like Mike Daisy. And before him, it was Spalding Gray. And they're the monologists. And that's what I consider myself to be. So this is the last show that I'm going to do until I get my San Francisco show down. And I might pop up and do other shows. But when I said on the Twitter, when I said on X, you got to call it X now. When I said on X that I'm going to do, this would be the last show, I meant it. This is going to be the last daily show where I come up and I talk about whatever it is that happened today. Like, oh my God. Rest in peace, Paul Rubens. Pee Wee Herman. Never quite recovered from the scandalous thing that happened in his career, in his private life. And then he still managed, but I don't think the public really, it took some time for the public to forgive him. He was a very private person. Apparently he had cancer, was struggling with cancer the last few years. And so that was kind of a surprise. Also, what's a surprise is he's just 70. So if you think you've got all the time in the world and you're in your 60s, oh, I've got all the time, you don't. I mean, it was a shock. 70 years old. And then the other day, Sinead O'Connor dies, and she was, 56? We don't have all the time in the world. So that's one of the reasons why I do this show. Not this show, but Emil Amok, Lost NPR host. You might notice the nice 4-color postcard that I tried to distribute in San Francisco this weekend, but I got stuck in traffic and I couldn't get through. So if you have a car, well, you can get it on my website, Amok. Well, amok.com, you'll get to the information. Here you see if you're watching the screen, you have the place to get the tickets on Eventbrite for Emil Amok at the SF Fringe. The tickets there. So I'm going to take some time to work on the show. And instead of doing this, which, doesn't really take that much time, but there's a kind of a mental, it's more than just an exercise. And like, you got to go through the news and say, oh, what are we going to talk about? Oh, the Carlos de Oliveira, got arraigned today. And on the list of people that he can't talk to doesn't include Donald Trump or Walt Nauta. And what do you know? He's, fairly, he's middle-aged, 56, right? You think about guys like him, they've made it, right? They're working at Mar-a-Lago. You're working for Trump. You're a big deal to your family. Oh, he works for Trump, the president. Just like Walt Nauta in Guam. He goes back to Guam and says, hey, look, here I am. I'm the valet to the president. It's a big deal. You want to know the kind of pressure on these people to be loyal to the president? Well, if you are a person of color and you are in that role, you know what it's like when you use the term boss. So I just hope someone gets to him and says, please flip Carlos. Carlos, please flip. Just like I've been saying to Walt Nauta, please flip. They don't seem to want to do it, because if you look at the polls, everyone seems to think that Donald Trump is going to be the Republican nominee. He's so far ahead in the polls, according to the New York Times. Excuse me, the New York Times survey. It was taken over the weekend. I mean, it's a huge. I mean, it's not even close. Ron DeSantis is like not even. Ron DeSantis is not even an afterthought, and it's kind of sad in a way that the Republicans can't seem to get a grip to repel Donald Trump and his minority of folks, a white minority that is supporting him. 54% is what Trump has. 17% is what DeSantis has, which is like nothing. And then everyone else has 3%. Mike Pence has 3%. That's what being vice president gets you. Tim Scott has 3%. Being a nice guy, African American. Nikki Haley has 3%. Nice person, sort of Asian American. Vivek Ramaswamy only 2%. He's not nice. Or he's arrogant. He's like Trump too, right? He's got 2%. And Chris Christie has 2%. He's the honest broker, right? And Will Hurd, who was like laughed off the stage in Iowa or booed off the stage for saying, hey, look, Donald Trump is running to escape prison. He got booed for that kind of honesty. So, of course, they don't ask Asian Americans who we'd vote, who'd we prefer. Well, I'm not Republican, but if I were, I don't know. Would it be a lot of people? I saw in local news in Iowa, a lot of people are going for this Vivek Ramaswamy over Nikki Haley, who's come out strong this week against old people. Mitch McConnell freeze. You're not in a Zoom room, Mitch. You're frozen. You're muted, and you're not in a Zoom room. Time to step down. Dianne Feinstein. Look, I'm being closer to the old folks. I have a little sympathy for them. But Nikki Haley's now coming out swinging and say, we got to replace those folks. Tim Scott's trying to be nice. Mike Pence is trying to avoid January 6th conversation. DeSantis has 5 times what those lower candidates, low-ranking candidates have. At only 17%, he doesn't compare to Donald Trump. So it looks like Donald Trump is going to be it. So I've got some things to write about in my column, and I will mention that. But, like I said, I only want to tangentially talk about some of the news that's maybe not going to change, but primarily use this last show to talk about my show, my Emil Amok Lost NPR host. Because it's coming three nights only. August 12th, Saturday, 7 p.m. Thursday, August 17th at 8:30 p.m. and Saturday, August 19th at 1 p.m. Three times. And I'll just repeat this show, and this will be like the ongoing Emil talks about his show, so you can, attend. I mean, the tickets, there are not very many tickets. What am I? Taylor Swift? No. And the tickets are reasonably priced. And it's about how I found my way home to the Tenderloin, to San Francisco. How my journey from my Philippine father, well, it's his journey, right? From the Philippines as a colonized Filipino to San Francisco. And then how ultimately when I was born, I continue his journey to Boston, Washington, D.C., through the media, through all the institutions, Harvard, NPR, and I come back home. So it's my story, my narrative, but I think you'll relate. You don't have to be Asian, you don't have to be Filipino, but it's how I found myself late late in life. Meditation helped, but it's my story. So I want you to come. And I'll read part of the press release, the press that my PR people did. That was me on a Saturday. Journalist, podcaster, investigative humorist. That's right, because I got to find the laughs. There are some. And former NPR host Emil Guillermo, winner of an American Book Award, not the national, the American, the Before Columbus Foundation, takes his truth to the stage in a comic one-man show about race, the media, American Filipino history, and the recent Harvard affirmative action case. I got a lot of stuff to share you about that. I mean, a lot of people think, you know, they're hung up with this legacy data that was just released the other day. New York Times published it, some other folks, to show you how bad the legacy issue, not just at Harvard, but at all the elite universities. And the upshot is, you know, we're not doing a good job in making the Ivy League or elite schools as a place for social mobility. It's not going to be the place where it's going to happen. What we need to do is we need to fund public schools. Why is it the Republicans don't want to fund public schools? Why is it that the Republicans are so hell-bent on private institutions, private for-profit institutions, not just the elite private schools? And then why not formalize K through 16, not K through 12, K through 16, and help public schools, help people achieve there? I mean, that's where you're going to get social mobility. Anyway, so I have a lot. Some of that's in the show as my character, Emil Amok. I mean, it's not a TED Talk. After a run in New York's frigid Fringe, Emil's show includes stories about growing up in San Francisco, the media, and how the city has changed from the perspective of a native in exile. I go to the city, I feel like I've lost my San Francisco card. But I know I left my San Francisco card somewhere. I still root for the Giants over the Dodgers, but there's something different. I feel like I'm this native in exile. But that means you can trust my perspective because I'm looking objectively at the city, like how maybe it could be fixed. And then, of course, there's my gong. The gong is you'll have to see how I use it. It was like ingesting a pill or some eyes looking upon me, kind of like a cyclops. As his late Filipino father, who has a cameo. Oh, more than a cameo, I think. As much as equity would allow. As his late Filipino father might say, it's all fucked up. It is. But that's good for you because then that means it's a funny show. Emil Amok, Lost NPR host, presented as part of the 2023 San Francisco Fringe Festival. Saturday, August 12th, 7 p.m. Thursday, August 17th at 8:30 p.m. And Saturday the 19th at 1 p.m. So all different times. You get your tickets at 277 Taylor Street if you want to pay for it live, or go online at Eventbrite. And if you're watching me, there's the link. Copy the link, go to Eventbrite, buy your tickets. Tickets are limited. I mean that. Like I said, it's not like Taylor Swift is performing. It's not really. But go to the link, get your tickets. Now, here's what critics say. And I say this to be, because performers have to like plug their show. And like, because no shows are asking me to come on their show, I'm going to do it here. And then you can like send this off to people and make this viral. And like, this will be the ad. Oh, you want to see Emil's show? Well, essentially it's Emil out of his audio closet. Can you imagine Carlos de Oliveira and Walt Nauta talking about Donald Trump? The boss wants you to do it. The boss wants you to take care of the servers. So here's what critics say about Emil Amok. my monologues. Exposes America's ugly colonization of the Philippines along with other comical and often profound observations. This from the Manhattan Digest, which just saw the show last February. Must see for anyone who cares about human rights and social justice. Of course, that's me. That's you. Let's go watch the show together. That's the Manhattan Digest. You can like Google Manhattan Digest and Emil Guillermo or Emil Amok and get the full review. The Orlando Weekly, same thing. I did the Orlando Fringe, and they said this about the Amok monologues. They said, stand up, monologue, rant. Enjoy trying to keep up with Guillermo's brilliant mind. Funny, poignant, says the Orlando Weekly. DC Metro Theater Arts says charismatic. Not the horse, but we're describing Emil here. Guillermo's life is one worth exploring. And exploiting, too, if you have a producer who wants to exploit me. The San Diego Story, which is known in Southern California, is arts journal online. Excellent, they say. San Diego Story. Emil Guillermo knows how to tell a story, and that ability sets his Amok monologues above other solo shows. Oh, my God. So check that out, definitely. Emil Amok, I use the Amok because I had a free A. I didn't want a westernized name, and I wanted a Filipino name, and Amok is a Filipino word in the English dictionary. Emil Amok Guillermo has performed his Amok dialogues at fringe festivals around the country. Shows are inspired by his weekly Emil Amok columns that appeared in the ethnic media underground. Oh, yeah. It is an underground media since 1995 and seen in mainstream newspapers around the country. Yeah, every now and then I'll take one of my columns and I'll send it off to in the old days, the Times and the Post and the SF Gate, and around the country they put it in all small papers. See his latest at ALDEF, the Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund. ALDEF, AALDEF.org/blog. I write about legacy. He also hosts the PETA podcast. Oh, every Wednesday it drops. And Emil Amok's Takeout, wherever you podcast, if you want the canned version. But I do this live, and it's saved on the YouTube channel. Also on Facebook at emilguillermo.media. And on Twitter, on my Twitter account, it's there, at Emil Amok. So you get me in all these different podcast forms. The Emil Amok Takeout, wherever you podcast, is a little different show. And this is the live version that is now preserved on all those places. Also on amok.com. So many different places you can get me. Now, let's see. It says here, you can get it on amok.com, a micro talk show on the news and live from an Asian American perspective. That's what it is. Late in August, he will reprise his role of a right-wing Asian American. That's right. I play an older and mature Vivek Ramaswamy type, I think. I mean, a much better looking Dinesh D'Souza. How about that? I play a right-wing conservative. So we're anti-typecasting. And I do that in Ishmael Reed's The Conductor at Theater for the New City in New York's East Village. It's coming August 24th. So as soon as I finish the Frigid Fringe, I jump on a plane and I go to New York, and I'm in this play. And it's really if I sang and danced, it would be a show-stopping role. But I just talk and try to be charming and right-wing as all get out, as conservative as I possibly be. You say, Emil, you're woke as you play a conservative. Yeah, I play a conservative. You got to see it. And I was told today by the director, Carlo Blanca, it will not be streamed. So you'll have to be at the theater. August 24th, there's like 12 performances. It runs Wednesday through Sunday, August 24th through September 10th. Check it out. There's matinees, evening performances. It's an air-conditioned place, Theater for the New City on 10th Street. It really is a great little 10th Street. Streets, no, Avenue, 10th Avenue. No, First Avenue. First Avenue, excuse me. First Avenue and 10th Street. Yeah, okay, I got to get it. New York's a grid. Good for people who are good at math. All the rest of us, we get lost. So, now you say, Emil, you're going to be acting. What are your acting chops like? Well, I studied acting while I was at the Big H school. I mean, you couldn't study acting as like your major. But they had acting classes at what they called the Loeb Center. I guess it's the American Theater Center or whatever it's called. They're on Brattle. And that was back in the 70s. And more recently, let's see. So I studied acting, and I've studied solo performance. Yeah, as I started to do my shows, studying with people like Charlie Varon, Mark Kenward, David Ford, all the big Bay Area solo guys. Have solo see Dave or Charlie or Mark. They're good. I've also studied with Mike Daisy, who sort of told me I could just, lightly grip the thing, Emil. See, you're gripping too tight. Lightly grip. Let it fly. And then see your piece rise. I like Mike. We communicate every now and then. But I have to say, he's been an inspiration as maybe more than Spalding Gray. I mean, I used to love Spalding Gray, but now Spalding Gray has been gone for a while. Only so many times you can watch, Swimming to Cambodia and all those others. Great film. Grey's Anatomy. But I've seen a lot of Mike Daisy. So it was a real privilege to study with him. 3 different sessions during the pandemic, last couple of years. So I'm putting together the show, and some of the stories I developed while working with him make it to this new show. The bio in this PR thing that I put out. In broadcasting, Emil was the first Filipino-American to host a national news show when he was at NPR's All Things Considered. And now there are more than just one person has come up to me and said, "Oh, that was you?" God, don't believe that. I thought something was wrong with my radio. But I was there in 1989. I was the first Filipino-American reporter at a major network station in San Francisco in 1981. They didn't know what Filipinos were. I said, "Shouldn't you be in the print shop or something? Did you want to come in here in the television station? Didn't you want to go to the restaurant in the corner?" No, I'm a reporter. Reporter. Besides covering the news on radio, TV, and newspapers from Honolulu to Washington, D.C., Emil was an entertainment critic at the Kron NBC affiliate in San Francisco, KRON, back in the day when it was good, and is the only known critic to give a bad review to Beach Blanket Babylon. How could you, Emil? How dare I have a story? I have an excuse. He's also written jokes for Jay Leno. The bad ones. Clearly, the bad ones. And won the competition to be class clown as a member of the Harvard Lampoon. Yeah, and I got my Lampoon medal here, right here, to prove it. Oh, yeah, Maria Bamford does a great joke about the Harvard Lampoon in her new album. Maria Bamford. Wasn't as funny as Mike Birbiglia on the Harvard Lampoon. As a native San Franciscan, Emil can proudly say he was born at UC Hospital. See, only a native can say that. Attended Andrew Jackson, Edison, Everett, and Lowell High School. He used to play all day at Dolores Park before the tech boom. And that was my park. Now, everyone's discovered it. It used to be that only people would discover, say, Alta Plaza Park, right? Pacific Heights. That was the view that people had of San Francisco. Or the view where you saw the painted ladies, the painted Victorians. And that was the scene that captured San Francisco. And never did they go to Dolores Park. And now it's the place because that's where the people are. And you go up there on 20th Street between Dolores and Church and you walk along that strip and you see the entire Bay Area. Breathtaking view. And I remember walking home from school because I take the highway or the high road up on Church and then turn on 20th to go back down to Guerrero where I lived. But I'd walk down that strip, that patch of grass from 20th and Church to 20th and Dolores and stare out at San Francisco and you say, oh my God, that's the city. That's the world. If I could only talk to them, all of them on a radio in San Francisco or on television in San Francisco, that would be my dream. I remember that. That's why I was a bride. I look out at the sky and see. Now, it must be said, San Francisco didn't have much of a skyline then. And that was a good thing. People didn't want it to. Now it looks like New York. It looks like a mini New York. Oh, it looks like New York. I guess people sort of like that, but natives, we were against it. Anyway, his true life stories, mine, are all real based on the imagination. Emil Amok, lost NPR host, presented as part of the 2023 San Francisco Fringe Festival. Catch it Saturday, August 12th at 7 p.m. That'd be fun. Still light. Don't have to worry about, being safe or anything like that. Saturday, August 12th, 7 p.m. It's an hour show. Be out by 8. Thursday, August 17th, 8:30 p.m. Okay, it's a little more challenging, but, you'd like it. Thursday night. Saturday, August 19th, for you scaredy cats, 1 p.m., but it's daylight. So, if you're a little hesitant to go out, how can you be hesitant to go out in San Francisco? Saturday, August 19th, 1 p.m. Tickets available at 277 Taylor Street. They're reasonable, $15, or online at Eventbrite. And if you're looking at me right now, there's see the link. Can't click it, just cut and paste, put it on your browser, go to it, buy a ticket, and I'll see you there. Approximately 55 minutes is the performance for Emil Amok, lost NPR host. And as I said, I did sneak in a couple of things, a couple of news bits today. It's Monday. But I'm going to just repeat this today, tomorrow, until, at least for the next week or so, as I work on the show. And by time the 12th rolls along, I'll probably, come up for air sometime next week and do a live show, just to let you know that I'm okay. The show's okay. Show's great. Get a ticket. We need your tickets. And then I hope to announce that maybe we're playing somewhere in New York sometime in September, and maybe even in Boston sometime in October. That would be fun. That would be fun. Except it starts to get cold in Boston around October. But that's the plan for Emil Amok, lost NPR host, found. The version in San Francisco is called Found in the Tenderloin, because that's where I'll be. And then, like I said, maybe I'll pop up next week and say, hey, we're going to play in New York too. Or we're going to play in Boston, possibly. I hope. And if you are like in none of those places and say, hey, we got a theater where we're at. Come on, Emil, play 2 nights, play a weekend. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll play a weekend wherever you are. Emil Amok in Omaha, a big Asian population. Emil Amok with the Hmong in Minneapolis. I do that. I do that in a second. Let's see. Let's see what happens. All right. So, but this is what I do. I mean, I'll still write my columns on the ALDEF blog, aaldef.org/blog. Go there for updates, or inquirer.net, or the Oakland Post. I write a column there for the Oakland Post. So you'll see stuff out there about my whereabouts and what I'm doing. And I hope you take part, because one of the things about doing the show live is that it's live. And I had done all the Fringe festivals I'd done, like from 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19. And then 2020, I had a big year planned, and then COVID hit. And then 20, 21, 22. I went somewhere in June of 2022. I went to Harvard, did my show there. And then spring of 2023, I went to New York. First time, 3 years, right? In a live theater in front of, gasping people who didn't have COVID. And, the restrictions were coming down. Now I hear that the restrictions are coming back up, or not the restrictions, but COVID is sort of making a comeback, still low. But here's the thing. We got to maximize our joy, right? So I'm going to get out of my audio closet here, and I'm going to go to the Fringe in San Francisco. I'm going to maximize my joy by going to 277 Taylor Street, Exit Theater, San Francisco, August 12th, August 17th, and August 19th. All odd times. Go to amok.com for the specifics and a link to get tickets. I sure hope you come. I sure hope you come, because it's an historic tale about Filipino Americans, about being Asian American, and how I found myself. That's intriguing. And it has to do with putting a camera up my butt. I know I didn't mean to disgust you, but that's the end game. Check it out, Emil Amok, Lost NPR host. All right, that's it. That's it for me. I'm gonna repeat this over and over again, and hopefully you'll see it and you'll tell your friends. I did this live today, but we're going to take a respite from our daily show, and we're just going to repeat this. And hopefully you'll find it and you'll say, hey, you know about this Emil guy? You got to go see him at the San Francisco Fringe, August 12th, 17th, and 19th. All odd times. But we got to go see him. Got to go see him. All right. Regular listeners of the show know I am not just an investigative humorist, but a stand-up meditator. I'm standing now. I know. Who would have thought? And meditation was part of me finding myself. And so I always end with a little metta, a little loving kindness, meditation. And it goes like this. As I wish for me, I wish for you. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. Not cheese, that wouldn't be vegan. Ease, with ease. It may all the foods be vegan, so you don't have to worry. So that's ease. Hey everybody, thank you for joining me. Until next time, Emil Amok here. Watch it loop. Let it go viral. Catch the show August 12th, August 17th, and August 19th. Live at the San Francisco Fringe. Till we're live next time. Mahal